Hey, what is up guys, Justin here. So, as you can see, it's a whole new setting. This isn't permanent by the way, but a couple of weeks ago, this whole studio flooded. So I had to get everything out. Now slowly but surely I'm getting stuff back in here, but we're not there yet, so bear with me. In these last couple of weeks, I did have the opportunity to test a new product, so without further ado, this video is gonna be about the XGIMI MoGo Pro. So fun fact, I work with a lot of projectors for a living, but at home I use only one type of projector, and that is the mini or portable projector. Now the reason being is that I live in a very cramped space, and I wanted to have something that I can use whenever I felt like it on any service that I'd like. And in the end, of course, you have to get a screen, but I use this any way I want. So when I'm laying in bed, I can just project it on a ceiling. Yeah, I'm one of those people, but I've been using a lot of projectors at home. So it all started with this one. It's an Optima projector. It's only 480p. It's not that bright. I don't even remember the specs anymore. It's been a while. I don't even know what type number it is because Optima never says it on the back of their projectors, but it's a nice little projector, but not the best. Now, a couple of months ago, I got myself a new projector, which is this one. It's a ViewSonic M1 Mini. They have like 4 different projectors with M1 something, which is very annoying. But these are actually pretty fun. They have everything that you need. This one as well. You just have a USB media player for certain types of files. You have the HDMI input for all your HDMI needs. And in some cases, they have something special. Like this one has a stand. I can just aim it up, which is great. I use it all the time in my bed, or at least behind my bed, and I just aim it at the ceiling and I get a pretty decent picture. They're all 480p, but that's fine. I'm not going to watch a movie with it, but I do sometimes want to watch some YouTube videos. And these things are pretty amazing. They work perfectly fine. Also, this one can be powered by micro USB, which is also great. Now, while these projectors are pretty damn fine by themselves, but one thing I felt always was missing is the fact that you still need external hardware in order to place something on your ceiling, in my case. That always bugged me. And the XGIMI MoGo Pro is the first projector that you can actually use standalone. Now, hear me out. There are a lot of projectors that have their own operating system. So, for example, you have ViewSonic projectors that have their own operating system. You can actually download apps on them, but it's always limited because it's always just a custom Android version with Aptoid, and you can download certain apps and some others you can't. And if you want to install all your apps, you need to download all the APK files. APK? Yeah. You need to download all the APK files, install them on your device. If you're not that technical, that might be an issue for you, but I digress. This one, the XGIMI MoGo Pro, does have all that. Actually, it runs on Android TV, and this is one of the first projectors that actually runs on Android TV. I keep looking at the projector. So let's start off by talking about the design of this projector. If I were to do this, then you'd basically be thinking that I was holding a Sonos One, for example, but the lens gives it away. Now, you have the lens here, but you also have a autofocus sensor here on the right. Basically, it uses more than 1,000 different autofocusing points in order to make sure that you have a sharp image. On the top, you'll see the XGIMI logo, together with a LED indicator and some touch control buttons. You can basically use them to pause anything that you're playing, but you can also use the plus and minus button to increase and decrease the audio. Now on the back you have the on and off power button, you have a 3.5mm jack, a HDMI 1.4 port, a USB 2.0 media reader, and the proprietary power port. On the bottom, also nice to know, you have like a rubber feet to make sure that the projector doesn't move by itself, or if you have it placed on a slanted surface that it won't just slide off. But you also have a 1/4 inch screw mount, basically to use it on any tripod mount or any camera mount. Just like the XGIMI MoGo Pro, the remote is also a little bit, it's very minimalistic. So you have the up or the plus and minus button, you can use that to control basically the volume. But if you slide a button on the bottom of the remote, you can actually adjust the functionality of the button. So if I were to slide it to focus, I can now use the plus and minus button to adjust focus. Honestly, I've never needed to actually fix that because the autofocusing works perfectly fine. You also have a Google Assistant button. Now, this being a projector that runs on Android TV, it also utilizes Google Assistant, and you can use that to check the weather, you can use that to open apps or to look for certain videos on YouTube, and even just control everything in your house if that's connected to your Google account. But other than that, it's just a standard Bluetooth remote that utilizes 2 AAA batteries. So for those of you who are interested in the specs of this device, you'll see them on screen. Now, I do have to say, I'm not that interested by it. The whole user experience is super smooth. It plays every file that basically Android allows you to play. So for me, it's not that big of an issue. You do have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that's being used by the internal software, but you can also use that to install apps on. The XGIMI MoGo Pro is a DLP machine, so it does utilize a DMD, and the DMD is only 0.23 inches. For those of you who don't know, the standard in basically entry-level Full HD projectors for home cinema is 0.65 inch, which is a lot larger. But chips that large wouldn't fit into a machine like this. So I think it's the perfect balance of functionality and quality because it fits in such a small package. So as I mentioned, this one does have a smaller chip or a smaller DMD, and in most cases that results in a lower contrast and in less sharpness. But taking into account that this is just a portable projector, I think the image quality is pretty great. You do notice, however, when you go for larger projections, like 90 inch, which I did, you will notice the screen door effect. Now that is basically when you see the rasters between every pixel, and it might be a little bit distracting, but once again, it depends on your usage. If you go a little bit smaller than that, you'll be perfectly fine, depending on the distance where you're sitting at. And as is the case with a portable projector, it's just something on the side. You're not going to use this as a replacement for, but it's an additive. So for that, I think it's perfectly fine. Now, the amounts of lumens. In most cases, for the price that you'll get this for, I believe currently it's like $5.99. You have a lot of projectors that have over 3,000 ANSI lumens, but this one only has 300. In a fully darkened room with little ambient light, that's gonna be perfectly fine. In a bedroom where you just want to use it instead of a TV on the wall, it's gonna blow your mind away. It's great. Just don't expect the best contrast. If you go a little bit smaller though, you will get okay-ish contrast. It all depends on your usage. When you compare them to full-fledged projectors, yeah, no one's gonna buy these. But as something for on the side, just to use it anywhere you want, I'm repeating myself from my Stadia review. This is a great little thing. So basically, in a fully darkened room, you're gonna hit 90 inches. It's gonna be fine, it's gonna look great. But if you want a better image quality, meaning better contrast, better colors, getting a little sharper image, I'd advise you to go smaller than at least 75 inches. That's gonna be the sweet spot for you with this projector. Sharpness though, I've used this one a lot for YouTube. Basically the only thing I use aside from standard streaming services. And what I did notice is that in some cases, some videos are being smoothed out, or so I thought. In the standard settings, the sharpness is set to 50. But I'd advise you, if you want to get a projector like this, go a little bit higher because 50 seems to be smoothing out certain details, and when you go a bit above that, it actually looks great. I've had situations where I was looking at someone and it just seems like there was some kind of Snapchat filter over his face because I couldn't see any detail. Now, if you like that, then yeah, it's not gonna bother you, but if it does, there's a fix for it. As for the software in this one, Android TV and Google Chromecast. Android TV makes sure that you can actually install every app that Google has in their Play Store on this device that is suitable for Android TV, of course. Plus, you also have the built-in Chromecast, which is amazing. So I can just install every app. I've installed Disney+, I've installed Amazon Prime Video, I've installed Twitch, and I can use everything from this projector. The only thing I need is the remote. But if I didn't want to bring my remote, I can just connect this one to the internet through Wi-Fi and use my own phone to send the videos that I want to watch to this device via Chromecast. I know it's nothing special, but for projectors, this is the first. There's actually the Anchor Nebula 2, I believe, but this is one of the first projectors that actually has Android TV built in, which is amazing. And I cannot stress enough how awesome that is. In most cases, when you have like portable projectors like this one, even if you have the smart version of it, you'd have to deal with Aptoid TV, you'd have to sideload apps, and yeah, that's just not something I want to bother with, especially if you're a-technical or just you don't know what an APK file is, then you're gonna have a bad time. And you won't be actually using this one as a standalone smart projector. And that is the thing, you need to connect an HDMI device to this one to actually watch Netflix or Disney Plus or something like that. And you have apps on this one installed. And if you don't have an app for it, you can actually just use your own phone and send it through Chromecast. Now, like I said, I've used Disney Plus, I've used Amazon Prime. There's only one missing, and that is Netflix. Now, you can download Netflix through the official Play Store. You can just not open it. This all has to do with certain content protection, but honestly, Disney Plus had the same thing when this thing launched. So you couldn't cast it to the XGIMI, you couldn't download the application through the App Store. But in the end, a firmware update made it all possible, or at least I think it was a firmware update. So I'm pretty positive about the future of a projector like this. So right now, this is basically the perfect little projector for on-the-go use because you can actually download apps on it, you can use the built-in Chromecast, and it's amazing. I wouldn't use it for gaming though. I've tried it and there's a delay that's around 50 to 70 milliseconds and it's just not doable. Certainly not for first-person shooters. But otherwise, this is a great little device. You can use it perfectly for a movie night, for friends, give it to some kids and they'll entertain themselves. You can actually download games on this one, meant for mobile phones or Android TV, and as long as you have a Bluetooth controller that you can connect to this model, you can just play directly from the XGIMI. Now I'm waiting for Stadia to get onto these devices or Android TV in general. That would be amazing, but we'll have to see. That's going to be a thing of somewhere later in 2020. So the XGIMI MoGo Pro is powered by two 3-watt Harman Kardon speakers, and they sound perfectly fine. I know I say a lot of perfectly fine in this video, but it's actually perfectly fine. It's not great, it's not bad, it's perfectly fine. Before I wrap it up, I wanted to tell you that this one also has a built-in battery, which is the equivalent of 10,400 milliamps. I had to look that up. I had to check. Now, that basically means that in echo mode, you can watch up to 3 hours, 4 hours of video, but in most cases, it would last you for a movie and a bit. That's pretty good, actually. What you do have to remember is that the battery slowly drains, so if you're planning on using it 3 days after you charge it last time, you do have to charge it again. It does also have a Bluetooth speaker mode, so you can just connect your phone via Bluetooth to this device, actually use it as a speaker. So you might have noticed that I'm pretty excited about this product. Not only is it a novel design, it also has functionalities like autofocus that actually works pretty fast and pretty well. Automatic vertical keystone correction for if you want to basically correct that trapezoid effect. But it also has pretty decent speakers, pretty decent image quality, and all for, what, $5.99 tops? For that price, it's actually great with a built-in battery. But the thing I'm most excited about, and this will make me sound like such an Android fanboy, but Android TV with Chromecast. It's just a functionality that was always missing, or I felt like it was always missing in portable projectors. And now it's not anymore. You can just use the apps installed on it. You can use your phone to send things to the projector. Now, to be fair, lots of projectors do have mirrorcast. They do have support for AirPlay, but I know that Netflix blocks AirPlay in some cases, and mirrorcast is just, it's okay for presentations. It's not that great for video. Yeah, Chromecast fixes all that, and I'm super happy with that, because that means that this is the first projector that I can use for the things that I want to use it for without needing to use the HDMI port. So that was it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, give me that thumbs up, and let me ask you this. What are you looking for in a portable projector? Because for me, that was Android TV, and now it's installed on this device. It's not perfect yet, but it's getting there. So yeah, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.